Webster's defines a city as an inhabited place larger than a town or a municipal subdivision created by charter by a state. I think we can all agree that our city is so much more, defined not by its buildings but by its character, our compassion for each other, our willingness to work together, our future orientation. We are tied together not just geographically, but psychologically and spiritually. Right now, many of our friends and neighbors are hurting. Our fellow residents have lost jobs, homes, retirement funds, college savings, and many fear the future. The distress is visible everywhere, but so is generosity and caring. Regional food banks saw unprecedented requests for help this season, and our community responded with an overwhelming outpouring of assistance. In partnership with Food Finders, we launched a citywide collection drive that netted over 16,000 pounds of canned goods and provided nearly 35,000 meals to almost 12,000 families in need. When Councilmember Andrews put out the call to help make the holidays a little brighter, the staffs at the Hilton and Hyatt hotels joined together to feed nearly 700 Central Long Beach residents at King Park. Please join me. It's truly gratifying. Please join me in welcoming Food Finders Executive Director Arlene Mercer and Board President Donald Cochran and the staffs of the Long Beach Hilton and Hyatt hotels, and a round of applause for them, please. Thank you. I'm proud that our community's instinct is to help each other, to go the extra mile in our charity, in our volunteer efforts, to simply listen when people are in trouble. Because I believe it is more meaningful to give in times of scarcity than times of abundance. When the global economy finally collapsed, after decades of conspicuous consumption and structural excess, we saw once again how interconnected we really are. The failure of the financial markets will be felt for years to come, and those effects will be felt by everyone. So what will we make of these unprecedented times? Will we have the courage to think for the long term while faced with the pressures of the present? Will we succumb to despair, or will we tap our reservoir of confidence? Will we have the courage not to act out of fear? Can we think more about us than about me? We will have an immediate opportunity to test ourselves on those important questions with this year's budget. Another generation, often called the greatest generation, witnessed deep economic distress and conflict on a global scale. Their character was forged in the Great Depression and honed in World War II. We admire them today, not only for what they have physically left us, but also for how they live. They are self-confident without being self-righteous, savers more than spenders, investors more than consumers, self-reliant rather than entitled, hardworking and future-oriented. Much of what we enjoy today and much of what our commerce depends upon came from that generation. Our highways, water systems, bridges, flood control systems, and our accessible system of higher education were all built or greatly expanded by them. They lived in a world of radical change, but embraced enduring values, ones that will serve us well in the coming years. 2009 will present us with a weak economy, a state government fractured and in turmoil. Uncertainty will be the norm. We already know that revenue to the city will decline, funds from the state will diminish, and the federal help will be short-lived and uncertain in amount. Across the nation, businesses and government will have to make many changes to bring our economic house in order. Here in Long Beach, the effects will be serious and the near future will be difficult. How can we cope with the economic downturn, and what will it mean for our city services? First, we need some perspective. When you include the enterprise funds, harbor, water, oil and gas, refuse, the airport, our total budget is $3.1 billion. Our general fund, however, is $404 million. Two-thirds, or $270 million of which, is devoted to public safety. That leaves only one-third of the pie, some $130 million for everything else. $130 million for all our parks, potholes, recreation programs, capital improvements, libraries, community events, elected officials, just to name a few. Over the past 3 years, we've taken over $79 million out of the general fund, cut nearly 600 positions, eliminated scores of automobiles, and cut spending almost everywhere. And for the first time, elected officials shared in the cost cutting. But there is still as much to do. We need to do more of what we have done well these past few years, like reductions to city bureaucracy and thoughtful review of how we deliver basic services. The challenge within our general fund is more of an issue than just spending. It is an issue of revenue. And quite simply, we do not have enough funds to meet the needs of both the general fund and our capital improvement demands. We must continue to look at both sides of the scale, reductions and revenues, because 100% cuts budget is not the smart way to meet our city's needs. We could shutter every library, eliminate the entire Parks and Recreation Department and all its programs, reduce the public works budget, and still not have enough to meet our capital investment needs, our streets, sidewalks, public facilities, and environmental systems. That is not the Long Beach in which you or I want to reside.